I want to welcome you back to Enemy of My Truth. And in this week's episode, it's a solo one, just me, speaking from my own experience about what it really means to walk this path as a medium. This conversation is an invitation, especially for those of you who are seeking out to work with a medium, feeling curious about this world and this space, or maybe even sensing a calling to explore it for yourself. I want to offer a glimpse behind what can often be sensationalized. Mediumship isn't about theatrics or always having the perfect message. It's about showing up with humility, trust, and a willingness to be uncomfortable. It's about doing the inner work so we can meet spirit clearly and meet others with care. As a medium and a psychic, I'm constantly learning. This path continues to strip away ego and fear, always. And when those parts do creep back in for me, and they do, I can feel the way they block the connection I have in a session. The more I try to be right or deliver, the less room there is for the truth and the blending of energy with spirit to come through. It's my indication to relax, to be present, and to let go. And this work is humbling. Every lesson, every session reflects something back to me, not just about the person I'm reading for, but also about myself, especially so. And for that, I'm deeply grateful for all this shows me. This episode is both a reflection and a reminder that this work is sacred, that it's never perfect, that we don't always get it right. How can we? And that's okay. The real work is in showing up with integrity and staying connected to the deeper why, to serve, to listen, and to be a bridge between worlds. I'm incredibly grateful for what this path has taught me and what it continues to uncover. I'm so glad you're here. Let's dive in. So I want to talk all about, this question comes up, and it was asked to me about what does it mean to work as a medium and what does it mean to be a medium? And I think the thing that comes to mind for me, working as a psychic medium, is that mediumship is very humbling. We have to step out of the space of being right or feeling that we can't get it wrong. When mediumship is all about getting out of your comfort level and your comfort zone, because we don't know what each session is going to bring us, because we can't possibly know the energy the client's going to bring in for us. And so I always let the clients know, and people who haven't gone to mediums before, that every medium you work with should bring a flair of something different, right? Every medium is going to show up differently in the way that they pull in energy through messaging, through evidence, through just these connections and images that they want to share. I had some clients the other day that came in, and when I say, mediumship is humbling, I mean that in a way that for myself and for many mediums, we have to be okay with getting a lot of no's and not having that validation from the sitter, and really strengthening your resolve and letting go of ego, that we're probably going to get more no's than we do the yeses. But when we get the yeses, they tend to be very powerful and really connecting. And I find even that when we are getting the no's from a client that doesn't make sense what we're sharing with them, it's not necessarily that we're not picking up the right information or the messages for them. We just don't understand how to connect it. So many times I will relay a message to a client, and I'll just say, hold on to this. It may not be clear right now, but it may over time, and usually that happens. And also in a reading, you're trying to navigate so many feelings and so many emotions that it's hard to really take in everything that's coming. I find that, and this is just natural, that many clients want to connect with a particular spirit, although the medium doesn't have control over who comes through in the reading. The medium is there as the conduit based on the energy of the client and how spirit wants to blend with the medium to be there with that client. And so it's really the invitation of the client as they bring their energy in to who the medium will pull through. Sometimes the question comes up, if my loved one doesn't show up in a reading, doesn't mean that they don't want to be there. And I've never seen that to be the case. Usually, when you're wanting someone to come through in a reading and they don't show up, there's a lot of factors that contribute to that. One of the biggest ones I find is that when a sitter's coming in or a client coming in and they're holding on to a lot of grief, that grief acts as a really big barrier. And I don't want to say that for anybody to feel bad because they're holding on to that grief. It's just a very dense energy that is difficult at times for spirit to come through and to want to blend. And that grief and that sadness the client is feeling, we have to honor. And so many times when a loved one does pass, it's really important to have some time pass by. The grief never ends, but the heaviness and the sadness of the event just happening can really keep a wall, can create this wall of not allowing energy to come through in messages, in really having that beautiful mediumship connection with your loved one. So sometimes it's very important to let some time pass, to let us sit with the grief and process that energy. And I find too that, mediumship is a lot like Morse codes. Morse code, the medium is using their own point of reference for understanding the symbolism and the messages that spirit's giving to the medium to relay to the sitter. So that's why not every medium is going to get the exact messages, or mediums are not going to work in the same way, because every medium's point of reference in their life experience will filter the way that they receive information from spirit, and the person they're working with. So there's so many factors that go into being a medium. And I think one of the biggest ones is just allowing yourself to not always hit the nail on the head. I think the beautiful thing about mediumship is being in the presence with the individual and allowing to come through whatever comes through, and knowing that there is, consciousness survives that physical death, and that they are here with us at all times. I find, interestingly enough, that spirit will always show me something that somebody's just done. Whether it's something that they just had a family event, they're about to renovate a bedroom, they're going to plan an event or a family gathering. Spirit, for me, will show things that are kind of current to let the sitter know that they are still here very much in everyday life. They're watching major milestones and life events happening. And sometimes spirit just comes in and wants to try to relay a message. And as the medium, it can be difficult, because if the sitter's not understanding information that you're getting as you're relaying, I have to let that information go by the wayside. And if it's important, the spirit will circle it back to me. For instance, I had some clients here the other day, and spirit, I had a father energy here who passed, and kept showing me issues with the head, something going on with the head, areas around the head around his passing. And they confirmed why I was seeing that. But the father kept showing me building something, like he was building a box, just kept building something with wood. And he wanted to show me something that had a lot of meaning, but he kept putting like a plaque on it. And so I said, "Do you have something from your father that you would understand around a box? And maybe there's a plaque on it, or his name, anything that would have been passed down for you." And they just couldn't take that. He wasn't a builder. He didn't build things. He wasn't an architect. So I was going on to more messages came through, and the image came right in again. And what happens is spirit will come towards me like a pressure. It's not like a bad pressure. It's just, I feel them here. Like, somebody just walked into the room and he was right by my side. And so he came in again. And in my mind's eye, in my clairvoyance, I could see this like box being built, like wood stacking up. And it was like just creating this like box or structure. And I said again, I'm like, "Do you understand anything around a box?" And so for me, I was thinking a box that you might have in your house. And I said, "Anything monogrammed, or, there's an inscription on something?" And they're like, "No." And so again, I go on to the reading. He comes back again. And I said, "Okay, I just have to bring this up again. What do you understand about building something with wood and having a name on it, or plaque?" I keep seeing this plaque. And all of a sudden the client just looked at me and she said, "This has got to be it." And so she shared with me that her father was on the school building committee, and he was in charge of building schools. And he said to her that he always wanted to have his name on a plaque on one of the buildings. And so once she shared that with me, like the release of the energy left, and I could tell that it was being acknowledged. But again, it was through my own lens and my own filter of what he was trying to show me. And so I don't, doing this work for so long, we are shown and taught things every day. What you think it is, it's not. And being very general and open to that understanding and that interpretation. Because if not, I would have missed why he was coming in. She may have gotten it at some point. I would have never known. But when she made that connection, he wasn't actually a builder, but he did help build these schools. And he always wanted his name on a building, on a plaque. Like, you can't make that up. So she shared that bit of evidence, and it all made sense. Part of, I think, being a medium and stepping into this space is that every day it teaches you more about who you are. Every day it teaches to step into the space to learn something new, to kind of start from scratch. And I always say this, that my students become my teachers and vice versa. And I believe that anybody who steps into, working with a medium or wanting to become a medium, there's so much to learn from so many different varieties of teachers out there, and the way that your energy works. And also, when you're going to go work with a medium, not every medium is going to align for you in the way that they work. Are they more, evidence-based and it's just evidence, 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 or do you feel more connected to them and there's more spiritual messages and meaning? Do you feel that that spirit comes in and really blends with the medium and you feel the presence of their energy here? So keep in mind that if you've had an experience with a medium that didn't go well, I encourage you to try other mediums. I think word of mouth is extremely important. Google reviews, of course, but sometimes you'll just feel very drawn to somebody. And again, sessions should leave you feeling empowered, and that there is some connection there. You're feeling something with a combination of evidence and messages, and this blending that you can feel your loved ones here. It's important to be able to go and try those experiences. As also, I want to share that not every medium can connect with every spirit as well. Again, it's not up to the medium; it's up to if spirit wants to come in. And there's a beautiful, they call this the triangle between the sitter, the medium, and the spirit. All needs to have that blending together. So just wanted to share a little bit about what it means to be a medium and some of the things that I navigate and part of this whole process. I'm grateful to do it. Every day is something different and something new. And it's a beautiful space to be in. And it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of consistency. And I think that through the course of how I said I work in other mediums, you never stop learning in this line of work, because every session, every client shows you a new symbol, a new image, a new meaning that you can take and build upon in other readings and for yourself. So just wanted to share a little bit about how the process works. And if you are developing as a medium yourself, give yourself some time and patience. Everybody's able to do this. Every single person, those that are curious even listening to this, it's because there's something within you that has a curiosity around this work. This is not something that is gifted to people. It's an ability, just like some people know how to draw. Some people might go on to do watercolor and paint. You have to develop this muscle and this ability that we all come, equipped with, in wanting to step into that and honoring it and having consistency to build upon it. So, those that are kind of wondering, like, could I do this? Is it for me? Everybody has this ability, just doesn't mean everybody's going to do it. And finding the right teacher to align with that allows you to open up and feel safe in this space is just extremely important. So wanted to share like a hodgepodge of things today around mediumship, and there'll be more, but these things kind of came to the surface as some clients were asking me about it the other day, and wanted to kind of share this in my own experience of what I go through being a medium, and that it's one of these processes that I'm just grateful to be a part of in this journey and in this community. Thanks.